Hey ladies, so I am so excited to share this with you guys. I honestly can say over the past week, I learned so much about perfumes and fragrances and where to use them and how to use them. Things that I did not know. And it's really amazing stuff that is going to change and has changed the way I use my fragrance and my perfume. So I want to share these with you guys because they're really simple tips, things every woman should know, but that I did not know. So I am going to share them with you guys. I am going to be using today my Dreaming of You fragrance. I am in love with this stuff. It smells so good, but I am not really going to be talking about this as amazing as it is. I'm going to be talking about tips that every single solitary woman should know about how to apply their fragrance, where to apply it, things they should know to make sure that their fragrance stays the way it should be as long as it possibly can, okay? So, there is so much to know about this that I could not get through it in one video, and I want to make this a short video. I want to make it full of stuff you guys can use. So I'm not going to go into all the details, but I should at some point because I'm telling you guys, you want to know this stuff. To start out, let's talk about very quickly how you store your fragrances. So this is my Dreaming of You, and it is in a clear bottle. And a lot of fragrances come in like a glass bottle like this. Either something that is completely clear like this or something that's just like slightly tinted. When you have a fragrance like this, do not store it in direct sunlight, okay? We're gonna get into more about like why not to do that as we go, but I want you guys to know, don't store it in direct sunlight because it can change your fragrance, all right? So first of all, here is the biggest thing I learned, the biggest tip I learned, and the person who taught it to me said, if you take one thing from this, take this tip, okay? How many of you do what I always did, which is I used to, oh my gosh, my phone is dying, just a second. Let me make sure I've got my charger plugged in properly. I do not want to lose you guys, so there you go. All right, sorry, it had flipped over. How many of you did what I used to do, which is this? You'd spray your wrist. I didn't quite make my wrist. And then you would rub them together, right? Isn't that, I know, Kara, that is so true. I have to say, I don't like fruity fragrances, and I should send you a sample of these because I love these because they don't have that like strong fruity thing. So I get that. I always thought that you put your fragrance on and then you rub it together. And guess what? Never do that. And here's why. And I love to know why, you know, because when people are always telling us don't do this or do that, when you know why not to do it, it makes it so much more powerful, right? So the reason why is because people who create fragrances, there is a specific term for these people. They go through all of this training. I will, Kara. They go through all this training and everything else, and they have to be able to recognize by a quick scent over 1,000 fragrances. And not only can they recognize like what the scents are that are in these fragrances, they can tell you, I don't know if this is true because, I mean, I don't think it's true with this one because I do know what the main scents are in this, but I'm giving an example. They can say, oh, there's a rose scent in that. Not only can they tell you there's a rose scent, they can tell you when that rose bloomed and where it was grown. Because these people study for an insane amount of time and they have to have this like natural ability and everything else. The people who actually create fragrances have gone through amazing amounts of training to do this, right? So they create these fragrances, they put them in these bottles, little pretty bottles for us. And we, not knowing better, spray them on our wrists and rub our wrists together because we think that's what you're supposed to do. Guess what? Here's the truth. When you do that, you are crushing the initial notes of your fragrance. Just like when somebody sends you roses, you wouldn't take a petal off and rub, or take the petals and rub it between your hands like that. You wouldn't do that because it would crush the rose scent out of it very quickly, and then it would start to die, right? Same thing with your perfumes. When you rub your skin together after putting your perfumes on, you are crushing your scents. So you don't want to do that. That was an eye-opener for me because I will tell you, up until last Saturday, I was spraying my wrists and crushing them together every time. And what can happen here is it can actually sour your perfume quicker. It can make it dissipate quicker. It can make it not last as long. So you want to make sure you're not doing that. It's a silly little trick, but it's something that every one of us should know, okay? Then let's get into where the best places to apply your perfume are. I don't know about you guys. My thing was always put some on my wrist, crush it together, wrong. And then I would spray a little bit on my neck, and then I'd usually do a spritz over my head. That was my go-to for putting perfume on. All right, here is the truth and some great tips of where to put them, right? So where you want to put your perfume, these perfume makers, these people who I've talked about earlier, who know so much information and just have all this great insight into how perfumes work and what scents are going to come out best. What they're doing is they're creating a scent that's going to work best when it starts to heat up. So that means you want to put it on the parts of your body that heat up naturally, right? So wrist isn't a bad choice, but it's not the best choice. Your neck, the fronts of your neck, even the back of your neck is a great one for spritzing a little bit of perfume on. The inside of your elbow, amazing. If you spritz a little bit on your inside of your elbow, as your body heats up during the day, as that skin heats up during the day, it's actually going to elongate and make your perfume smell dissipate more, like through where you're standing, which means people are going to scent it more. You're going to smell fantastic. It's going to be awesome. If you're like me and when you put a little bit of perfume anywhere on your neck, you feel like it's like overtaking you all day, that's okay. You don't have to do it. The other great place that I'm not going to show you guys how to put it on there because I'm wearing jeans and because that would just be a weird video, is the backs of your knees, because that is one of the areas in our bodies that naturally heat up. So if you're somebody who's really sensitive to smell like I am, or if you just want something that's going to last a long time without overpowering you, spritz the back of your knees, because as your body heats up naturally, as you're going about your day, as you're walking around, as you're doing things, that scent is going to come out and be really, really nice for what you're going for. For all of your scents, and this is something else I learned that I thought was unbelievable, there are like 3 notes to a scent that you should know about when you're smelling them, okay? So like that first note, that first time you spritz a scent, you get that first like really fantastic smell of it. It's what makes us fall in love with the scent, right? It's the smell that you smell and you go, I need this product. I need this perfume, right? And that's fantastic. That you should totally go with that. If you love a scent on that first smell, you're probably going to keep loving it. That's great. But what you need to be aware of is that first scent is not going to be the one that lasts an hour or 2 hours or all day. You know, that first scent is going to be your initial burst. And then after it is where, as your body heats up, the scent is going to really come into its full bloom. So all scents are kind of like flowers. So even if you're not into flowery scents or fruity scents like me, you should know that when you pick that scent, go for your first scent. That's what we do. If we're in a store or we're somewhere or we smell it on somebody else, we smell that and we go, oh, that's fantastic. And that's what makes us love it. But that scent is going to kind of change, not drastically. You're still going to like it throughout the day, because that first scent is the initial like 5 minutes of, oh my gosh, or 15 or 20 or 30, minutes of, oh, I love this. And then throughout the day, it's going to kind of change, which is why we put our scents on those key body parts, on those body parts that are going to warm up, like your neck or the inside of your elbow or behind your knees. These are all areas where your scent is really, really going to get stronger, right? So that's just something to remember. After that initial 15, 30 minutes of scent, you are still going to have an amazing smell. I really love the way these things, hi Renee, I really love the way these things continue giving you a really nice scent throughout the day. That's one of the things I love about our products. But you need to be aware of that initial scent is your initial one. And then afterwards, you're going to be like exuding a really nice a slightly lower scent of that on any perfume, because that's the way perfume works. And it's really just something that I think everybody should know. You should know not to crush it. You should know where to properly apply it. And you should very, very much understand that if you want a great scent that is going to speak to you personally, which I have been amazed, because like I said, I am not into really fruity, I'm not into really flowery, and one of my perfumes that I have here is gorgeous, but it's not quite me. Perfumes are a very personal choice, right? So think about that. Think about that, because that's why we put them in spots where they're personal to us. They're the spots that are going to warm up. The back of your neck is fine. The sides of your neck are great. Inside of your elbow, behind your knees. We put them in those places because perfumes are supposed to work with you. That's why it's a personal choice. They're supposed to work with your body to give you the scent that you want to convey to other people, right? So I've got my Dreaming of You here. Like I said, I used to always do the inside right here on my wrist and then rub them together. Never do that. That's bad. But now I've been getting better about doing the inside of my elbow, a little bit on my neck, because like I told you guys, I'm a little sensitive to scent that's very close. If you are, that's fine. There's ways to work around it. And as I've gotten out of the shower the last few days, I've been doing the back of my knees. And what I found is that as the day goes on, I feel like the scent is perfect. Like I can still smell it, but it's not in any way overwhelming. It's not that crazy first initial burst of flavor. It is that ongoing one. And, it really connects with me. It makes me feel like what I want to portray to the public. It makes me feel confident. It makes me feel like I'm making the right decisions on my scent profile overall. So if you are using a scent, or if you need a scent, let me know. I'll send you out some samples. But if you have a scent that you already love, that's fantastic. I had one that I bought in Disney World and it was fantastic, but I've never found it again. After it was gone forever. I literally went online, looked for it, never found it. But I have found new ones that I love in this collection. But if you have a scent that you love, start trying it in some different places. Make sure you're not crushing it, just like you wouldn't crush a flower petal, because you know that it's going to kill that flower petal faster. You want that scent from that flower to keep coming out. Same thing with your perfume. Just try it on these new places. Make sure you're keeping your scent somewhere that's out of direct light. Because if it gets too hot, if it gets in that direct light, you can change the notes of the scent. And that's really important, right? We want to keep the notes of that scent exactly like they were when we first smelled it and said, oh yeah, that's the one for me. We want to keep that. And just, really remember when you're picking it out that a lot of times I feel like you smell that initial smell and then, 2 hours later, you're like, can I still smell this? It's okay. If you're using it in the right spots, if you're using it in those spots that are going to warm up through the day, you are going to keep getting that scent. It's just not going to be that first really strong scent that you get. That's that one that you fall in love with. It's going to be that second and third note, because every perfume has 3 notes. That first one and that second one that's kind of comes in after that first one kind of dissipates, and the third one. So just make sure you're putting it in the right spot, you're storing it correctly, and you are, enjoying it throughout the day. And that's the big thing. So if you have any questions, I will honestly tell you guys, I have so much information right now crammed into my brain about perfumes and scents and how they work and how to pick one for yourself. I have so much of that information crammed into my brain right now that if I tried to go into it all, this would be a huge disaster of a mess of a live video, because I'd be going all over the place. But if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. I know I wish somebody had told me that, because before I found these, I had no scent that I felt like I connected with. And I've got a lot more insight now into how we connect with our scents and how we should pick one and what we should do with it when we have one. So if you have any questions for me, or if you just want samples of the scents that I have, send me a message, comment on the video, and I'll make sure I can help you out with it. But there's all kinds of great information. And one of the things that we associate with ourselves, even more than our makeup, and you guys know I love makeup, is how we smell to ourselves, how we smell to the outside world. So you want to get that right. And that's why I felt like it was so strong to share these tips in this video. I want you guys to have the confidence of knowing you're doing the right thing with your fragrance. You know where to put it. You know that it's going to work for you throughout the day, and you can move forward with that. So, any questions, let me know. Thank you guys for joining me. I hope I gave at least a few of you something to think about, something to try, fun stuff, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.